Hey, Rainbow here, and how are you? Notice something different up here? Huh? You notice something a little bit different up front? Well, after looking at that completely tricked out Ducati Multistrada V4S that I have on a video, okay, I decided that since he had an extra mount to give me for free, that I was going to get a mount for this GPS. This is the Garmin Zumo XT, specifically for motorcycles. It was a super easy installation. So part of this is going to be how to install it, which again is super simple. Very, very, very easy way to do this. And but what I need to talk about is, why did I decide to put a GPS on a motorcycle that comes with a map as part of it, that's built in to the display through an app? Well, the reason why is that they give us CIGIC. I've already created a video about CIGIC and some of the problems with CIGIC. So the reason why is that CIGIC is just horrible for North America, and I would love to be able to use it and have it up and be able to go places, but it's very unreliable. I also had issues where I just used my phone, and I love to use Waze, but the problem with using my phone is that if my phone rings and I want to answer it, or I have to answer it, then it disappears and now the map's gone. And I don't want to be fidgeting with this. I just want to set it and forget it. You know, I want to set my GPS. It's up here. I have it. It's Garmin. I've used Garmin for years, and I know that it's going to be good and it's going to work. And I can look at whatever I want on the TFT, so this way I can pay attention to everything else without having little small icons. But if they had the ability for us to use a better mapping system, I wouldn't have had to spend the money that I spent on this. Now, the mount itself, I don't even know how much they cost, but the mount to me was free, and it can't be too much money because there's really not a whole lot to it. It's very simple to install. But the GPS itself was 500 bucks, and I have it wired in directly to the bike, and there's a spot for it. Again, I'll cover all that on the video, but watch the video on this and you'll see. But the bottom line is, I really didn't have a choice. All right, I have a big trip planned, and when I'm going to be on a long cross country, I can't be messing with my phone and, you know, have a CIGIC app that's essentially useless to me, that sometimes doesn't even know where you're at. So anyway, that's what I'm doing.
First thing you're going to do is get a T20 Torx bit and remove your windscreen. You're then going to get a number 4 hex head, otherwise known as an Allen screw, and you're going to take out 1, 2, 3, 4. You're going to take out these 4 screws, okay? And you're going to remove these plastic pieces here. Then you're going to grab the bracket, this bracket right here. This, where it says Iconic Parts, is going to face forward. Okay, you're going to put it right inside here, and it's made to fit right back in the exact same location. So we'll just put the screws right back in. Now the last thing you should do is put the windscreen back on, but we're going to put that on at the very end after everything is wired in. As you can see, it looks pretty good. It's in here. You might want to tighten these down right here once you get everything set. All right, once you get that in place, I use a number 3mm and just make sure that these are tight. 3mm hex. All right, make sure these are nice and tight. Yep, let's not overdo it. And the nice part about this is that with this setup, unlike some others, it doesn't affect the windscreen going up or down. Now the next part is going to be wiring it in, which is the hard. This is the easy part. This is a piece of cake. This is one of the easiest ones you can put in. So let me get something straight. I did not purchase this at all. Neither did Iconic Parts send it to me. This was given to me by another rider who had 2 different ones and ended up just sending this one to me for free. So Iconic Parts has nothing to do with this one from the UK. So with that being said, I didn't want anyone to think that I'm pushing these, all right? And this is something you're gonna normally adjust at the very end, all right? So that you can adjust the tilt of your screen. What I'm going to tell you is this, is that this takes a number 3mm, and what I am also gonna tell you is that just trying to loosen this screw on this side, just trying to loosen it, I stripped it out. It's stripped out just trying to loosen it. So I don't know what happened. I don't know if there was wet paint somewhere that it got hung up. I have no idea why, but I had it, obviously I know how to do this. I did one. I tried over here. So right now it's really tight to move, which is fine with me because I'll only ever be able to adjust this with one. But for some reason, just trying to loosen this screw and having it fully seated all the way in, it just stripped itself right out. So don't know what the quality of these particular screws are, but I'm not thrilled about that. If I purchased this, I probably would be like, hey, send me another screw, I'll drill and I'll get rid of this. Or I would just go and try to replace it on my own, which I may end up doing anyway. But just wanted to go over that so you're fully aware of this situation. Now continuing with your number 4 hex head, it'll be time to take these 3 screws out. So it's 1, 2, and then there's one over here. I just had this all off as a matter of fact. And be careful of the wires because this is where your European 12 volt connector is. Now what you're looking for is, this is what plugs into your 12 volt in the back, all right? Your little European plug. Attached to this with this little rubber on it is what we're looking for, okay? This nav. So here's the connector that we have. We're gonna take and we're gonna splice onto these wires. I don't know if you can see, we're gonna splice onto these wires, and this is what's gonna provide power to this unit right here. So let's get this off right now. I'm going to try to be careful. I want as much of the wires left as possible, so I'm going to try to be as careful as I can be to get this open, because I want to still be able to just use this as a permanent plug, so I don't have to cut the other half of this off and then solder into it on the bike. So I'm going to try to be as careful as possible, and this is where I'm going to recommend that you be as careful as possible and try not to screw up the insulation, because Ducati did a really good job of heat shrinking the hell out of this with a bunch of goop. So I just put a brand new blade on here. I don't know if you can see anything. I just put a brand new blade. I just want to see if I can do it without damaging anything here, hopefully.
So here's what happened. While I was in the middle of videotaping how to, my oldest daughter called me, and we talk pretty much once a week because, you know, she lives far away from me. And I just continued to work and completely forgot to videotape everything. So that's why this is strictly about really the mount and nothing else. So as you saw, to install this was really easy. Piece of cake. I know this was mostly about the mount because everyone has a different GPS that you might want to use. One of the important things about this GPS is that you put enough slack so that you can raise it when you need to, and it's not in the way when you lower it. So I think this will work beautifully for me. I don't even have the display turned up really high and I could still see it, and I'm looking through a tinted visor. So yeah, the Zumo XT specifically for motorcycles, it's $500 that I didn't want to have to spend, but I wouldn't have had to spend $500 had they given us more options for maps other than Sigic, which quite honestly isn't the best option, at least not yet.